Today's backstory is about the year 1965 when I graduated with a postgraduate degree and then landing in a temporary job to teach in the University of Kerala. Well, 1964 was a very important year in the field of education, university level, college level education in Kerala. Because in 1964, the university decided to do away with what was called then the PUC, pre-university classes. Instead, from the academic year of 1964 on, a pre-degree course was introduced. Pre-degree, as against the PUC, was a 2-year program for students coming out of high schools in Kerala. And pre-degree had a first group, second group, third group, etc. classified based on the major subjects in the fourth or third group. In other words, first group is math, physics, chemistry. Second group involved physics, chemistry, biology, and third group, like for example, what is called humanities, social sciences, so on and so forth. One of the greatest advantage for the decently passed postgraduates from the various colleges as well as from the University of Kerala in 1964 and 65 was that they landed in a job as a junior lecturer in the several colleges, existing colleges as well as the new junior colleges approved by the University of Kerala. Well, only trouble is, the second year, the demand still was higher because there is a second batch joining. But unfortunately, as far as geology was concerned, we had no scope to enter into a teaching job as a junior lecturer in any of the colleges. We had to look for some professional organization recruiting geologists, which was also very, very scant. And it was slow, unfortunately. And of course, those days there were only 30 or 35 institutions or universities and the colleges that offered a PG degree in geology. In Kerala, it was the course was offered in the University of Kerala only in the Department of Geology, and there were only 2 colleges admitting undergraduate students for the undergraduate degree, and in Thrivikramji University College, this number of seats were restricted to 14, so also was the state of affairs in the Kasaragod Government College, which was with the University of Kerala those days. Well, the English language PGs had a golden opportunity provided by the university. Even if you scored a third-class degree, which is not employable in a college-level job, university offered what is called a whitewashing type or painting up, like a program, which the university designated postgraduate diploma in English. Well, that much for the lucky guys and girls or women who had a PG degree or a decent PG degree, or like in the case of English language, a diploma through which postgraduate diploma, once you go through the diploma course, you are treated equivalent to what is called a second class MA, which was the basic essential qualification fixed by the University Grants Commission and colleges, universities and governments across the country. Unfortunately, I don't know why the second class was considered as a great achievement those days, even in the 1960s or soon after independence or prior to independence. Anyway, So geologists, what we did, we were, we had no option. Our friends were taking jobs and they getting salaries in the scale of what is allowed for a junior lecturer. But it was anyway decent and very exciting for those guys. But then, what happened? As far as geology was concerned, the only employer in the state of Kerala was the Directorate of Geology under a director who was those days Mr. C.V. Paulos. C.V. Paulos once upon a time was working in the Mineral Survey and Research Division of the Travancore University along with K.V. Krishnan Nair, Ramchandran Nair and K.K. Menon. And it was, when Ramchandran Nair sir went to Benares for a MSc degree, C.V. Paulos went to, I don't know, to probably not in Kerala, he went to Travancore, Cochin State, or Travancore State those days. He probably went to Mysore and finally he got a MSc by research, MSc degree by research in geology. K.V. Krishnan Nair sir also was without a MSc degree, but as soon as K.K. Menon came back from Yale University in 1947, K.V. Krishnan Nair sir registered for a MSc degree by research in the Travancore University, and that's the way it was. But as far as, we, the first batch of University of Kerala students in geology were concerned, we were just waiting for the Geological Survey of India to either recruit through the what is called the Professional Employment Exchange or by some examination screening tests conducted by the UPSC. Anyway, I was kind of lucky because in a sense, I got a reward of at least a temporary job in the university and where I started on the 6th January 1966. But toward the end of 1965, I applied for an assistant geologist job through the PSC for the Directorate of Mining and Geology. There were 2 posts only, and I was one among the 2 candidates. The other candidate was Ayyappan Nair, yes, who later on became the director, then landed in the Indian Civil Service, etc., etc. When the interview was held, or rather the interview was held in somewhere along in the 1966 January, February, and I never cared to attend the interview. Well, of course, Ayyappan Nair was the only candidate and he was elected and he was appointed as a assistant geologist in the mining and, now the mining and geology, then it was the Directorate of Geology. So I went through this, my teaching job and the pyrite research, etc. in the geology department. And my teaching assignments or teaching jobs were on applied geology. In other words, I have to teach a course, or let us say a paper in applied geology, which combined mining geology, ore dressing, geological prospecting, and geophysical prospecting for the final year MSc students. And in the first year MSc class, my responsibility was to coach them in structural geology. Both subjects I loved so much, and because these 2 were taught to us. The applied geology was taught to us by Rajendran sir, and Rajendran sir, of course, had lended his applied geology notes covering all the 4 subjects to me to use, on a promise that when he comes back, I will return the notes. That also is needing a special mention here. So by about March or so, the university advertised the post of a lecturer to make a regular appointment, and of course naturally I will lose the job then when the regular man comes, but I had some kind of a hope that I might get in. Well, because I was first class, first rank from the first batch of the University of Kerala. That was the only thing. Secondly, I showed my mettle in aspects of research, etc. For example, the so-called pyrite study. And whenever I got free of my classwork, I always not only went into the lab, teaching lab sessions of the other subjects concerned, I also devoted a lot of attention to the Koilon limestone and the pyrite occurrence. And we had in the botany department right across the geology building those days, and little diagonally behind what is called those days the University Tennis Stadium, excellent laboratory and photography facility attached to the botany department. And Professor Menon and Dr. A. Abraham were very good friends, and Professor Menon had called up Dr. Abraham and seeking help for photography work. And obviously, there was no dispute about the approval. And Menon sir called me and said, whenever you get free time, you go to the botany department, and there is an artist photographer, one Krishnan Kuti, and he will do the photography for you, photography for you. So I gathered 6 or 7 thin sections of Koilon limestone, and then I went to the botany department, and I did not meet Professor Abraham, because there is no need actually, it has already been set right. So I went to the what is called the photography lab, met Krishnanguti, and Krishnanguti was a nice man, and I told I am from geology department. Then Krishnanguti answered, yeah, they have been instructed to help the geology professor. Okay. So the question is, Krishnanguti and had a senior colleague, Sridharan Nair, both are artist photographers, and to add a point about Sridharan Nair and Krishnanguti in this context will be appropriate. If you go to the University Senate Hall, you will see a gallery of huge portraits of the vice chancellors, and include all these portraits were created by either Krishnanguti or Sridharan Nair. Sridharan Nair is no more, Krishnanguti is no more anyway. So I took these slides, I handed over them to Krishnanguti. Krishnanguti checked them photography facilitated microscope they have, and did not have in botany, in life sciences, they don't probably use those days what is called a polarizing microscope, which is actually the workhorse in the geological studies of thin sections. And then Krishnanguti said, what is there to photograph? There is nothing. I said, no, go to a higher magnification. And then I told him, if you have a facility for a reflected light, then he did not understand what I meant by reflected light. They are used to only with the transmitted light those days. And then I said, if you have a source of rather powerful source of light or a lamp, then we can shine it on the surface of this light so that, cut a bit of the transmitted light so that we will get a view of the material that are reflecting, or what is called the pyrite is metallic in luster, and it will reflect and identify itself, its presence. So Krishnamurti had, of course, it's a good laboratory, then he had some kind of a light source to shine a powerful light on the thin section. And then Krishnamurti asked, oh, it is interesting, how did you do that? I said, we have these facilities in the geology lab, so I got used to watching and studying the particles under reflected light also that makes up the sense. Then for the first time probably in his experience, he was looking at a thin section of a rock, and they both Sridharan Nair and Krishnamurti were surprised. You can see a rock under thin section. How do you make the thin section? I said it is a long story. Padmanabha Bulasamy is the artist and scientist who makes our thin sections. And very difficult it is to make a thin section out of a sedimentary rock because it is friable. It is not as compact as what is called the crystalline rocks or the what is called our Precambrian igneous metamorphic rocks. So anyway, the pyrite I surveyed the slide, I showed a pyrite, individual grains of pyrite, aggregates of pyrite, and rhomboids filling in the empty chambers of fossil tests or foraminiferal chambers in the foraminiferal tests. And of course, Coelon limestone has a very special very special in the sense that it had what is called a larger foraminifera called Operculina malabarica, and that was actually a piece, or wherever there is a piece of Operculina malabarica, the chambers were larger and enough that you see excellent images of, real images of what is called framboidal pyrite. And then Krishnamurti said, all right, Vikramji, what you do is, I have some idea now. Why don't you come the next day or day after next, so that I will have some leisure time and I will spend time with you in making photographs of this, whatever you need. Well, I thanked both Krishnamurti as well as Sridharan Nair, and then walked back to the geology department and reported to Professor of Geology, Menon sir, that sir, this is what the arrangement is, I will go the next day. His professor said, all right, fine. And then another thing that happened was, during those days, in the first month of January, a very sad day was there, the 24th or 25th of January, when newspapers reported the sudden death of Homi Bhabha, who is considered as the father of the atomic energy in India. He died in a Boeing 707 crash on Mount Blanc in Europe. And I will tell you, in the next session on my walk back about my filing application for the post of lecturer in geology in the University of Kerala, advertised